APC group asks CJN Ariwoola to resign over compromised Supreme Court judgment. Can you imagine? The Chief Justice of Federation, Ariwoola, has been asked to resign by some APC group because of compromised judgment of the Supreme Court. How was it compromised? Let's see. A pro-all Progressive Congress APC group on the aegis of Progressive Minds Forum, PMF, not be small group, on Friday called for the resignation, suspension, or sack of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, over alleged compromised judgment that recently emanated from the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Wow. The group lamented that the award of senatorial ticket to Senate President Ahmad Lawan and Senator Godswill Akpabio by the Apex Court was a great embarrassment to Nigeria because they did not partake in the primary elections of the APC, won by the original holders of the ticket. The forum also insisted that the Supreme Court ruling to extend the use of old Naira note was not done in the interest of Nigeria, but to please and aid certain political forces from the Southwest who have been clamoring for the extension because the CJN is from the Southwest. In a statement signed by the forum's national coordinator, Barrister Priye Johnson, he said that the comportment of the CJN since assumption of office does not befit a man who occupies such an exalted position and saddled with the responsibility of determining the destiny of litigants that come before the Supreme Court. The statement said, the Supreme Court is the last hope of the common man, but under Justice Ariwoola, justice is now for the highest bidder. It has always been like that anyway. The whole world would want to know how failed presidential aspirants like Akpabio and Lawan were awarded senatorial tickets by the Supreme Court when they never participated in the primary election for those positions in their senatorial district. This is a man who recently attended a state dinner in Port Harcourt and apparently after much campaign that are common in such high-level political gatherings, made political statements that were unbecoming of his position as the #1 jurist in the country. Besides, only the CJN and Supreme Court justice can tell if the recent ruling on banning the use of old Naira notes was done in the overall interest of Nigeria or to enable the APC access enough cash to buy votes in the forthcoming election. Even the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, has kicked against the judgment and filed an appeal against it. Okay, the position of the AGF shows that the ruling lacks merit as it was apparently motivated by partisan motives and tribal sentiments which may likely plunge Nigeria into crisis if not immediately curbed. Needless to say that such highly compromised and spurious judgments now emanating from Apex Court under Justice Ariwoola represent a huge embarrassment to Nigeria both at home and abroad. They have also cast a pall of doubt over judgment on disputes that may emanate from the forthcoming general elections. Therefore, the need for Justice Ariwoola to either resign his position or be sacked in order to checkmate the gross danger the Supreme Court now poses to democracy and the rule of law in Nigeria. It is clear that the Supreme Court under Justice Ariwoola's watch lacks integrity. Therefore, it has no basis to continue as CJN, especially in view of the forthcoming general election. The CJN must be seen to be above board and also must be blind to all parties in the dispensation of justice in order to display extreme neutrality for justice and fairness. However, this is not what we are seeing presently. Now, wow. Since the Apex Court has proved its unwillingness to save democracy, Buhari must rise up to the task of saving democracy by ordering the suspension and investigation of the CJN and the other Supreme Court justices involved in the above referenced cases. Okay, the APC members also called on the international community to place visa ban on CJN and the justices involved in the controversial cases for working to undermine democracy in Nigeria. They insisted that the judgment have set bad precedent and gravely breached the provision of Section 115D of the Electoral Act 2022, especially in the case of Lawan and Akpabio. The whole world is still waiting to know how the Supreme Court came about its ruling making Ahmad Lawan and Godswill Akpabio candidates when it is clear they were both presidential aspirants under the APC. The Electoral Act of 2022 is very clear that an aspirant cannot contest for two different positions in one election cycle. Section 115D of the Act stipulates that a person who signs a nomination letter or result form as a candidate in more than one constituency at the same election commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a maximum term of imprisonment for 2 years. So we appeal to international community to help save democracy in Nigeria by ensuring that the CJN and all justices involved in the recent ruling on Lawan and Akpabio are placed on visa ban, he stated. Oh boy. So the same APC now has gotten another faction. Had a faction, they call themselves Progressive Governors Forum, PGF, that actually came and took the government to court and started approaching Buhari, to extend the Naira issue. And now another group of the same APC has come out again. They call themselves Progressive Minds Forum. This is not Progressive Governors Forum now. These are Progressive Minds Forum. And they have 3 cases now that is bothering them that is actually a threat to the state of Nigeria. One is that the judgment on Lawan and Akpabio, giving them ruling, to become senators in their own senatorial district when these people participated in presidential primaries and they failed. Okay, so that judgment and then they didn't participate in the senatorial primaries. So how come you are now giving them judgment? Okay, they had their ticket as presidential candidate, and then during the party primaries they failed. So how come you are not giving them a judgment to go back now and also become their senators against those people that actually filled the form and participated in the primaries? That is not very good. And second one is the judgment on the extension of old Naira notes existence in Nigeria. That the same Supreme Court provided a ruling in favor of the Progressive Governors Forum, restraining CBN and the president from banning the old Naira notes. So all of these judgments are actually enemies to democracy, and all of this happened under Justice Ariwoola, the Chief Justice of Nigeria. And now this Progressive Minds Forum of the APC group are now asking for his immediate resignation, or that the president should, sack him with immediate effect to save the judicial system and also save democracy in Nigeria. This is a big one. The man, he said his comportment since he assumed that office is inimical to justice and judiciary system in Nigeria. This is serious. Okay, this is serious. Progressive Minds Forum, a faction in APC, is raising this concern and are now begging that something must be done. They are even begging international communities to place visa ban on these CJN and other justices that were involved in all these nefarious judgments that came out within the week for APC. I will just take a few comments. One says, when Mary Peter Odili was influencing majority of judgments in favor of PDP and their sympathizers, it was democracy working. But the reverse is the case now. Let it be known to majority of confused, obedient, and PDP looters that for every case brought before Supreme Court, at least 5 or 7 justices must sit on the matter, and each will write his or her position. What is the noise about Ariwoola now? Let's all condemn the anti-people policy of selected individuals who are hell-bent on revenge missions. It can't work and will never work. Stop supporting evil and speak the truth for once. Haba, you know they tire for stupidity. Is there any connection? Okay, there's no connection between Mary Odili's position and what is happening now. Some may say we don't have Supreme Court in Nigeria. What we have is super criminals. That is true at times, okay? That's what somebody's saying. I think all these occultic magistrates presiding over people cases should remember their end. Or do they think everything ends here? Everything does not end here. They are really occultic. That is true. Ariwoola is a long truth judge now. Just organize an Owambe and invite him. He will be there 24 hours before the party. Wike invited him for a dinner in Port Harcourt, and when he was asked to talk, he became G5 member at once. Can you imagine? Don't mind him. When Atiku becomes president, he will be removed. Okay, is he the only one who decides, or you've forgotten that there are about 7 others who also have their final say after going through each case? But we just need to be sure that whatever there is in Nigeria, once what the leader is bought, everybody following his bought. That is the thing. So it doesn't matter if they were 7 or if they were 20. If all of them were influenced, they were influenced, and their judgment will definitely be biased. Okay, that is the truth. Some other people say, rubbish, what do you know about law? When you become judge, you will see why public opinion would not decide the case for you, but facts presented. Do we really have facts in Nigeria? Have people won cases based on facts? Okay, so the truth is that in Nigeria, anything about judgment is the man with the highest bidder gets the judgment. That is it. That is the way Nigeria is. So that is what is coming for Progressive Mind Forum, another faction of APC, calling for immediate resignation or sack of the CJN over these recent judgments that are actually inimical to democracy in Nigeria. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment.